Hi everyone, it's Desiree, and I am so excited. You know, I believe as paper crafters, we wait for, well, the main 2 days or months of the year. We have, or had, Stamptember, and now we have our DIECember. Yes, I love those 2 months. They are awesome. But anyway, so that is what I am here today with. Simon Says is now celebrating their DIECember, which is awesome, and there are many beautiful items in this collection as always. So the one that I will be creating, I'm going to create a couple cards here, is this adorable birthday wishes die cut. It's a nice size. This is what the die looks like. So it's like the palm of my hand. And if that doesn't help, it is close to 2.5 by 2.5 square, even though it's a circle. There is some great intricate lines. These lines are beautifully thin, and that is actually the size of what the die will look like when it is cut out. The thinness of those lines, the details of the wishes. And yes, that little dot is separate, but that's okay. I don't think I lost any, although maybe one. So we are, since it's December, holidays are coming up. There's many holidays within this month. So what I thought I would do is I dug into my stash for some holiday themed papers. Now, one of the sets that I absolutely love is the set by Lawn Fawn, and it's part of their Perfectly Plaid, and it's the winter pack. I love the colors of these, the grays, the aquas, the whites, the charcoals. Just a huge fan of what this color palette is. So again, simply by using certain cardstock, I know a couple people that birthdays are in the month of December. So kind of mixing it all together, you can use papers that have that theme as well, even though we are wishing happy birthday. So let's get started. So I also dug into my stash and I pulled out my balloon, my nested balloon dies from Simon Says. They're not so much nested, but there's a great arrangement of dies in there. And then I also, when I was digging around in my stash, I found my Simon Says nested talk bubbles. So all kinds of different sizes of talk bubbles. This is the size that I'm actually going to be using. I don't know if this is still available. I will make sure that I link to the products that I'm using. But again, I wanted to focus on dies because that's what DIECember is all about. So I took care of pre-cutting my pieces out. So let's focus on the first card. So here's all of my pieces. Here is my standard A2 size card base. So this is going to be, now you can take this, you could do this and cut the sides off, but I didn't want to do that. So I'm actually going to have this come in just like that. And then I have different versions, colors, so to speak. I know I don't want this one, so I'm going to set that one aside. I'll use that one for a later time. There's that little dot on top of that. Oh my. So I wasn't quite sure which color I wanted to go with. You can see just the detail in the die when it cuts, so I'm trying to be careful as I'm pulling this apart. Oh, got a little piece there. So I didn't know if I wanted to go with the gray in the center, which, yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to go with because I'm kind of really liking that. Or we could actually go with the, oh, where's that dot? Oh my goodness, there's the dot. Okay, don't lose the dots. Or here is the aqua that we cut, and you can see comes absolutely apart. Just be careful when you're pulling your dies out when it comes to the wishes, because it is so thin, so tiny. I'm kind of like coming in from the top. It's not, and of course I probably had this sitting a different way, but I don't want to break the ring that's around it. But that's just getting in my way. Can you tell? So I'm just pushing these pieces away, and you can see they're just coming away from it. And I'm pushing backwards on it. Here you go. That's the other piece. Let's not get those mixed in with those dots. I can, you know, I'm going to lose those dots. I'm just saying. Now I'm going to push out the center pieces. Let those fall. You know, it would probably be easier if I had a pokey tool. So I grab a pokey tool on the last one. Yep. There we go. Get those out. And then that's what, I still have the D there. Oh, and I still have that T part. There we go. Okay, sold. Now, again, you can use, you know, either one. I am liking the gray and the way that the gray looks, but what we can also do to use both of them, we can give this a shadow effect if we wanted to. So I am going to go with the gray because I really do like the gray. And again, I'll use that one for another time too. But I really do like the simplicity of just setting that there and setting that down. Very simple, very basic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down first. I'm going to grab my tweezers. And I'm going to grab my liquid adhesive. And we're going to glue this in place first. Just going to use some small dots. And I'm just going to go around the sentiment and then just some small dots around this line. And then around these letters here. And then just some small dots around this ring. You know, when you apply your glue, you don't have to have that solid line. You can just have some very fine dots. And you know what? I think I am going to grab this. And I'm just going to set that right down. And we're going to see if I can do this, because this is interesting. I'm going to get my tweezers out of there. And just to have that little bit of blue to shine through, I think will add a really, really nice accent to the letters. I'm going to work that there. And then I'm going to bring that up as well. So I think we've got it's a different looking ring. And then we'll be able to set that right in there. Now, what I'm going to do when I set that, I want to make sure this here is propped up. So I'm going to add a few glue dots on this, or glue dots, yeah. Just some dots of glue, how's that? Along this piece. we'll flip that. And then I'm going to set this in place. Put that there. And then I'm just going to put this right where it needs to sit. And then I'm going to move this. Because I know that's how that is going to look. Just going to apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, that's cute. And now we're just going to prop this up using what's closest to me, and that would be the foam squares. You would think I would learn by now by being prepared. No, it's fun to just dig in and start creating, right? Right. I'll cut this one in half. And then I'll grab these. Let's say we just need one more. And we'll put that one right there. Lots of release papers. So once I have this down, then basically our card is complete. Now you can embellish with some sequins. You can embellish with some ink in the background. You know, whatever it is you would want. Now I'm going to stand above this and make sure that when I put this down, I can see all of my pieces. And that is our first card. So it's like a little speech bubble, you know, someone saying birthday wishes coming through. All right, so again, you can layer that. Now, the one thing that I'm forgetting, because I was worried that I was going to lose it, very small dot. Going to come in with my wax pencil, and I'm going to put that one down first. Then we'll add another dot, and then we'll come in with the gray. Okay. It's a good day today. Yes! So that's kind of different. Now this would also be fun, you know, putting in, doing some inlay die cutting on that background as well. But just one way to use this die inside of another, just to send some birthday wishes that are during the holiday season or even in January, because again, winter plaid. So that's our first one. So let's look at our second one, and I've already got that one going on here as well. And I have my card base already set. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to put some foam strips around this. Yes, we're going to make a shaker element, because they're always fun to create. Now, the best thing to use for something of this size are the DIECember foam strips. I know Stampin' Up! Also has them as well. But first, I need to grab a piece of acetate. Obnoxious sound coming out there. And I think what I'm going to end up doing, I think I'm actually going to take this die. These are the 3 dies that I used from the balloon set. And I'm going to use this one, and I'm actually going to use it to cut my acetate right out. So I'll be right back. so here's my cutout, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to put a thin bead going around this. I said a thin bead. All right. And then I will place my cutout on top of this. Now I'm going to start, I like to keep the tissue paper on, and you know what, we're going to give off on that. Okay. And I'm just going to start at the end and then just wrap this around because it is the exact same size. And I'm just going to put pressure, and when I do, I like to push out so that the glue doesn't come to the inside. I love making shaker cards, but wow, I have all kinds of problems with static cling. It's just all kinds of fun. And there is our little window. So now I'm going to use my strips, and I'm going to start setting those in place. These strips are great when doing circles because they bend so easily. So I'm just going to take this and wrap it around, and it's okay that, you know, the piece is curling up. It'll go back down. I'm going to grab one more. It's very sticky too. And now I'm going to make sure I close that up. And I'm going to come around. I'm going to make sure I go to the outside of that little lip there, but not over the edge. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to just pinch it up in there. I'm going to snip and then push that down because you want to make sure you don't have any openings. And then I'm going to, where's the sticky end? I'm going to cut this little piece here because then I can put that right there. So that end will stick up as well. All right, now I'm just going to separate that just a little bit to get that down there. All right, so there is that. So what is the funness that's going to go on in here? Well, again, it's holiday themed or winter theme. I'm going to use my anti-static. I'm okay if the acetate gets a little cloudy because it's fitting for the holidays. So I'm going to use, you'll see this in, I think you'll see this in a previous video, but this is by, I believe, Desiree, the pack, and this is Spectra glitter. It's chunky glitter. It's kind of really cool, and they're like crystals, though. They're awesome. So I'm going to fill this up with those. Now, what I'm going to do first, what I found works, is I'm going to grab one of my trays, my triangle trays, and pour some in, and I'm going to pour a lot because I want this filled up. And then I can take this, if I don't spill it, you'll see why I say that. And then I'm just going to pour them in here. Then I'm going to hold this down gingerly and just flatten that out so that they will move when we go to put, and you know what, I think I need more. Don't you think? Taking a gamble here. Okay. Now I'm going to extremely carefully, fingers crossed, pull off my release papers because it likes to, okay. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to hold this down. So we're going to do that. My nails are actually down on the cardstock, but you can see how that's wiggling, and I know people are saying you should have pulled the release paper off first, and yet no, because then I get it all on the outside. You know, it's a combination of things, right? Some things work for some things work for others. Nothing works for me. And now I'm going to place my backing down, and hopefully I have it straight on there. Give it a little push. Okay. See, it doesn't, you don't get that, isn't that fun? But it doesn't, you know, that'll actually calm itself down when it does all of that. So it's a lot of fun and very inexpensive. I believe I found this on Amazon on my, you know, shopping excursions. Okay, so what is going to go up on here? What I want to put is this. So this was a die cut with our die cut in the center. So, because you can see the pattern will match. So I'm actually going to adhere that down onto that. Again, I'm going to grab my tweezers because it's just easier to do that. Because then I can just add my dots the way that I need to add my dots of glue. And then just go through to make sure that the edges have a little bit of the liquid adhesive. Of course, that's going to stick. And then we're just going to go through, add some small dots around this. And then we're going to turn this around. So I'm going to start in this corner here because I know that is where that is to sit. I'm going to let it go with my tweezers. And I'm just going to gingerly push her down into place. Take my nail, push that over a little bit. And I actually have the eye stuck in there. Hello. Okay. So now we need to get that out without losing it. Little dot of glue. And boom. So that is our one element. So to make the card, and what's great is you can build this right onto your card base. Now you could use, if you wanted to, another piece of pattern paper if you want below this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this here, and I just want to set these around as well. Now they actually look like bunny ears coming off, so we're going to do that. So it looks like a bouquet of balloons. All right, so now I need to pick this up. And we'll glue this one down. We're going to glue this down as well. Then I'm going to come in with one of my fine liners, if I can find it. And I'm just going to add my strings for the ones on the bottom. Now for that one, I am going to, oh, forgot my crossovers. Now for this one, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to grab some string. Because I did not glue down the bottom of my balloon. So I'm going to be able to put that right there. And then I'm going to be able to just put a dot right there. And I'm going to use my tweezers to hold that. Ha. And now I'm going to make a bow. So I like to do this, and then I cross it over. I pull the loop through. I pray I have enough tails. Make sure it's even. Trim off those, and then I'll be able to put that right there. And I'm just going to hold that for a minute. Okay. Now, I do like the little tail coming down with the string. You don't have to. We can trim that. There you go. Again, it just adds some dimension to your cards. So, again, when you have those birthdays or celebrations around the holidays, you can still pull out your pattern papers, use that, create the theme with it. Birthdays don't always have to be rainbows. I mean, at least when I think of birthdays, it's rainbows and balloons, candles, cakes, lots of cupcakes. But you can take something like this and use your papers or the colors of the season that you're currently in to create your birthday cards. So I do hope you enjoyed this. And I'm trying to, here it is. So again, that's the die. And again, we are now celebrating not only the holidays, but the month of December. So this is an awesome time. So this product and others will be linked down below if you wanted to check them out, along with everything else that I used. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for stopping by, taking the time to watch the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to be a subscriber, so make sure you click on that button, ring the bell, hit the thumbs up. When you ring the bell, you'll know when the next video has launched, let's call it that, or is available to watch. Again, I hope you're enjoying your day, but always remember what's most important. Always be creative.